Hello guys, and welcome back to a brand new video. Today's video we are going to be discussing Gareth Southgate, we're going to be discussing England and my thoughts regarding the whole situation currently, the form that England are currently in, what I do think is going to happen leading up to the World Cup, which is obviously in November. Basically, am I Southgate in, Southgate out? Like, where do I stand on that entire topic and whatever? I've seen a lot of videos going about around this, but without further ado, we're just going to get straight into this video. We'll start off with the game against Italy. We started off alright. I think both England and Italy weren't playing that well. But then the second half came about and yeah, it just... losing the ball, couldn't keep the ball for too long, like... The passing was atrocious, like everything about England's performance just... And there was no flow to the game, and like some players played well and I watched it. I did a live watch on Italy game. I really wish I didn't, because there was literally nothing going on, do you know what I mean? And we could talk about squad selection, we could talk about what Gareth Southgate did wrong, did right, whatever. But I also do think the players also need to take responsibility for how they performed against Italy, because it wasn't good enough, and I don't know what that type of performance was. I don't know. I don't know. And obviously Italy's goal came about from an individual error, ended up scoring 1-0, which can happen. But the thing is with that, we got relegated in Nations League. Like, Nations League, I'm not really that bothered about. I don't really care, do you know what I mean? Like, obviously you don't want to lose or whatever, and to get relegated is probably embarrassing, but does anyone really care about Nations League? Personally, I'm not too bothered about. There's a way to lose, and that was not it. It was just lackluster. Moving on to the Germany game. Okay, it started off okay. We were playing well. We probably should have scored. England should have scored at least 1 or 2 goals in the first half. What I can remember, I don't think Germany posed too much of a threat. But what was killing us was like the final pass, or like England player passes it as like the final ball, and then the player just can't control the ball. That happened a lot of misplaced passes. Maguire. We're going to get onto Maguire. Not the right passes weren't being made. That was the first half. But if any of those balls were better, we definitely would have scored in that first half, and we probably would have ended up winning the game. The second half, for the first half of the second half, if that makes sense, was shit. It was the same thing that was happening against Italy, and we ended up conceding a penalty from Maguire, who passed right. I don't want to go too hard on like one player, but Maguire, okay, it was his mistake. He tried passing the ball out, but he passed it straight to a Germany player, and then he gives away a penalty. 2 mistakes, and it just didn't stop there. But that was Maguire's fault. We gave away a penalty, so England go 1-0 down. And then it ends up being 2-0, where Maguire's in the final third of Germany's. He's got the ball. He's trying to like dribble past players. I'm just like, why you just pass the ball? He didn't. He ends up losing it, and we end up conceding a second goal. All down to Maguire, who could literally just pass the ball. If you're holding onto the ball for too long, you're eventually going to lose it, because he's not a type of player that can like dribble and like keep hold of the ball. Do you know what I mean? He's a centre back, and you're trying to dribble in the opposition's final third, which just doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. But with Southgate, then he made the correct substitutions. He brought on Saka, he brought on Mount, which definitely changed the game as well. Can also mention Bellingham. He in the midfield. He was sensational against Germany. That's probably been his best performance in England shirt. And I think for the World Cup, Bellingham definitely needs to be a starter. But yeah, Saka and Mount came on, changed the game. Mount scored. Well, technically Luke Shaw scored first, but it was, yeah. And we managed to get a goal. And I was like, okay, we can actually score goals. Because we hadn't scored from open play in like, I don't know how long. I don't know how long it was, but it was a long time. It was a bit of a lucky goal because it did hit the goalkeeper, but it went in. So, but Saka and Mount changed the game as soon as it came on. But the Mount scored, and it was 2-2. And you're thinking, oh my God, what is happening? England can play good football. England can play well. Obviously, I don't know what changed, but all of a sudden we were gaining confidence. We were playing, you know, how we played in like the previous like the Euros, and like it was just working much better. Then England get a penalty for, I don't know who did it, but it was on Bellingham, wasn't it? And that could have been a serious challenge, like serious bad challenge. And then obviously Kane takes his penalty, scores. Like he always, like most of the time he does. He has missed a few, but you know what I mean. Top ins. We go 3-2 up, and you're thinking, what the heck is happening? We could actually win this. But then another individual error, and Germany get a goal back, so it's 3-3. Nick Pope should have kept hold of the ball, but basically Germany had to tap in because of the Nick Pope. Saka had a chance to win the game, but the goalkeeper made a good save. And I think that's pretty much it. So the game ended at 3-3. English should have won, hands down. Obviously Germany did have quite a few chances, definitely from Maguire. I've said enough about Maguire, and yeah, I probably should not lay on him too much. Because it's like, oh my God, made a mistake. Now let's move on to Gareth Southgate. And whether I'm Southgate in, Southgate out, where do I stand on the whole thing that is occurring? I have no idea. So, I think it's important to remember where we were before Southgate became England manager. We hadn't gotten far in the competitions like Euros, whatever. Losing to Iceland was an embarrassing defeat. You know, we hadn't gotten to like a semi-final in years. A final in however many years, I can't remember, like over 50, wasn't it, something like that. So I think it's important to remember where we were and how far we've come with Southgate. We made it to a semi-final in the World Cup. And then the Euros, we made it to the final. There is argument that we definitely should have won. If we try to get a second goal, whatever. So I think that you need to remember where we were. We've come a long way with Southgate, and there's no reason just to say that we won't win the World Cup. We won't win a tournament with him. I'm, in the middle. I'm not Southgate out, and I'm not necessarily Southgate in. I'm sort of, I guess you could say I'm on the fence. I don't want to go as far as say Southgate out, because I do think he deserves the World Cup. People might think that's stupid. People might think, what the heck are you talking about, because of the recent performances. But let's not forget the previous tournament. We made the final. Yeah, we didn't win it, but we lost out on what? Penalties. We lost out on penalties, and like, people might say, oh, with Southgate we're not going to win anything. His team selections are bad. The football's bad. Like, it's boring. Like, we have so many attacking players. We should be playing attacking football. But who's to say if we played attacking football we would have gotten as far as we did? Because our defence, let's be honest, is not the best in the world. It's not. It's, apart from Dyer, who I think has definitely improved under Conte and is definitely our best centre-back in England, who else? Like, our defence is just, it's not, I don't think it's good enough to go all out attacking. Let's just say that. So if Southgate is a more defensive manager, but that sort of has worked, it depends how you look at it. Has it worked if we haven't won anything? But you have to say it did work to a certain point because we made the final. People might want to talk about, the opposition you played, but you don't choose who you play. You can only beat who's in front of you. And we beat Germany, we beat Denmark. Like, yeah, it wasn't like, we didn't blow them away or anything, but we definitely, you know, proved worthy of winners. And then we come to Italy and it's 1-1 and we lose on penalties. Like, it's not like we got battered and it's like, oh, Southgate's fault. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, I don't sometimes, but against Germany, he did get the subs right, so we have to give him credit for that. To where I can't say with confidence I'm Southgate in just because of what's happened. The recent performances haven't been good enough, and it's like, if we're taking this form into the World Cup, it's not good, but it's good. If we're going to have this form, it's good that it's happening now and not during the World Cup. I think it's either a win or nothing. Do you know what I mean? Which may sound a bit ridiculous because it's like, well, England haven't won a major trophy since 1966, so to think, oh, if you don't win this, you're going to get sacked, could be a bit harsh. But I do think it's now or never, do you know what I mean? Like, if we're not going to win the World Cup this year, when are we ever going to win a tournament? Because players that we have, they're not getting younger. And I think people need to realise that Kane is like the best striker England have ever had. And when you look at the options other than Kane, who we have now, who out of those is up to Kane's level? Because I can't think of any. So it'd be like, well, once Kane's gone, where are we gonna where are you gonna get another like striker like him again? You're not. So I think people need to respect Kane more. Just putting it out there. Yes, he hasn't won a trophy yet. Yes, but that's you're comparing an individual to team trophies. It just doesn't make sense. But yeah, I do think Southgate's gonna get the World Cup, and if he doesn't, I don't know who's gonna replace him. People talk about like Poch or Tuchel, but let's be real. Do they really want to go into national? Do they really want to manage a national team? I'm not entirely sure. I assume they would want to be club football or whatever. And let's be honest, it's not guaranteed that we get a different manager and we go out and win the World Cup. Isn't it? Like, I don't think it's going to work like that. You might think it might give us a better chance, but we reached the final with Southgate. There's no reason as to why we couldn't reach a final again. And England have more experience. We have experience of making a final. And yeah. So my point is, I'm in the middle. I wouldn't necessarily mind if a new manager came in, but I'm not necessarily on the side of being like Southgate out, like really pushing that. Whatever is going to happen is going to happen. And yeah, I think for me to reach the point where I am like Southgate out, England would have to be knocked out the group stage of the World Cup, and that for me, then I would be on the okay. So maybe Southgate's taken as far as he can. Time for a new manager, and yeah. But as of now, I'm in the middle. I'm not Southgate out. I'm not Southgate in. I don't know what you'd call it. I'm whatever you want that to be. If you want to say I'm on the fence, I'm on the fence. Whatever. I'm probably the only England fan that is like not Southgate out, from what I've seen. So, but yeah, those are just my thoughts regarding England, regarding Southgate, regarding the recent performances. And yeah, let me know down below your thoughts, and I will see you guys very soon with a brand new video. There will not be a live watch along this weekend for the Arsenal versus Tottenham game because it starts at 12:30, and with my work we might be finishing late, and I finish at 12 and I have to walk home because I'm finishing at 1. So yeah, there won't be a live watch along, which I'm really annoyed about because it's like against Arsenal, and I really you know, so there won't be a live watch along. And I was planning to do a live watch along for the Germany game just in case I wouldn't be able to do the Arsenal one, but yeah, it didn't end up happening, but it's what it is. But I'll see you guys with a brand new video very, very soon. And don't forget to let me know your thoughts down below regarding Southgate. And yeah, maybe we can talk about more about Southgate when the World Cup comes about. But yeah, thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you guys very, very soon.